I wanted to share with you about the times that I've passed out at the theme parks here in Florida, which is Disney and Universal and SeaWorld, and what the parks did to help me out and share that with you today. Why is because I saw that there was something going around about a woman whose child has a gluten allergy and had an issue come up at Magic Kingdom, and she's apparently thinking about suing because they didn't handle it well. So I figured I'd share with you what happened with me. So I have a service dog. I have dysautonomia, which is an issue with your autonomic nervous system where it doesn't regulate right, and sometimes you end up passing out, which is what happens with me. Whenever I do go to the parks, I utilize my wheelchair and my service dog, okay? So I was at Pirates of the Caribbean. The party I was with, my friends and all, were looking forward to riding it, and so was I. I do like Pirates of the Caribbean. However, you can't bring your personal wheelchair onto the queue for that. You have to utilize one of their wheelchairs. So I left my wheelchair out in the front area as you enter the building that the queue is. I left my wheelchair there, and I was like, I don't need a wheelchair, I'll walk it. No, I couldn't walk it. So as I'm walking it, I'm not feeling good. I start looking for an exit, which I've realized is one of my first signs that I'm gonna pass out, is when I start looking for an exit or start looking for a place to sit down, okay? So I'm looking for a place to sit down. I'm trying to get past the chain off areas. They have like little roped off areas. I was trying to get past there to lay down at places, and it wasn't clicking to just exit. And we get to where they're loading the passengers into the boat, and I said, I can't. I have to go. Now I have my service dog with me. She knows counterbalance. She knows forward momentum pull. She knows alert. She could get me out of there. And I saw a sign that said exit, and I just started walking towards that. And the cast member is like, you can't go that way. I said, I'm going to pass out. That's all I could get out. I'm going to pass out. And another cast member came walking up, and he said, go with her. And so the cast member's like, hold on, I'm coming. And I'm just like, I can't. If I stop, I'm down. So she got me out of there around the back. The back of Disney isn't as pretty as the front of Disney, right? And back in. So as if you're looking at Pirates of the Caribbean, a ride to the left, there's like a little divot. That's where the door came out at. And they'll loop the line in there if they need to, right? So they got the people out of that area. And as soon as I got into the park, I went down. Like I couldn't wait any longer, right? So I go down, and the dog's doing her job, right? They knew something was up at the time. My friends were on the ride. I go down, I hear, because it sounds like something coming from a tunnel as I'm coming out of it, asking if they could get me anything. They got me a bottle of water, and they asked if they could help. And whenever I was able to speak, I had said, we need to get out of the park. And as you know, if you've been to Magic Kingdom, Pirates of the Caribbean, you have to go to the front of the park and deal with the hordes of people. Then you have to go either the monorail or the ferry boat across to the Transportation Ticket Center. You have to work your way through there into the parking lot. And this was during COVID, so I don't think trams were running, but either way, we had parked at the handicapped area. So at least it was kind of close. And I did have my wheelchair, and it was an electric wheelchair. So I didn't have to push myself, and nobody had to push me. But I did hear somebody saying, yeah, I'm a nurse. Can I help? I'm a nurse. And Disney was like, no, we good, which was appreciated, right? So he was going to take us. He asked first if we could go in a golf cart. Would that be okay to go in a golf cart? And I'm like, heck yeah. But then whenever he realized the party was, I think it was 4 people, 3 service dogs, 2 wheelchairs, and 1 stroller, he was like, we're not getting all that onto a golf cart. Because that would have been so much easier to just shuttle me out there. But we didn't. Instead, him and another guy cleared the path through the park for us. So it was like we were celebrities on a parade, a private parade of just us. But still, they escorted us, I guess, to the front of the park, up to the monorail, and then we took it from there. When I pass out like that, I'm so out of it that I couldn't function anymore, right? But we got out of the park, and that was that time. Another time I passed out at Disney, at Universal, we were going to Mythos. We had a reservation at the restaurant there, right past the Dr. Seuss area, which is always great for the service dogs. Mythos and the Dr. Seuss area. But anyway, we were going past Mythos to those little shops just because we had some extra time to kill. And I was in the wheelchair and I couldn't function anymore, and I passed out, which I usually don't do when I'm sitting down, but I did this time. I passed out. I ended up on the ground. First aid people came running over. Can I help you? My friends that were with me, they also have, one of them has dysautonomia. We were there working her service dog. So it made it a little bit easier. And they got me bottled water, and they didn't have any electrolytes. I had some in my pouch, and we used that. But they did bring me one of those big cups of cut fresh fruit. So I had some of that to help, with natural electrolytes. And then whenever I was feeling well enough, we went to Mythos. I think we missed our reservation, but they still honored it because I had passed out. And I needed salty. So I had like French fries with extra salt. I had a whole bunch of salt. But they handled it very well. I've also gone into the first aid room booth area a few times. One time was over in Animal Kingdom, over where Starbucks is, before Africa. I went over there, and my friends wanted to go ride Everest, and I didn't, because that stuff isn't good for me. So they went over there and they left me in the first aid booth with my service dog, which works. I'm not complaining about it, right? Like, when you're around me enough, this is what happens. Just cold, wet washcloth and water, and I'm good. I was at SeaWorld, and I passed out right before, the Sesame Street area. I passed out, and as I was coming back around, I didn't have my wheelchair at the time with me. So Rich went into one of the stores over there and asked if we could rent one for the day. So he paid for it, rented one. They brought it over to him. He brought it back to me, and then he pushed me around the park for the day. I've also had where my Smart Drive, which I have two wheelchairs. One of them is an electric wheelchair with a little joystick to guide it and move it. And the other one's a manual with a Smart Drive, which is like a little droid that helps it to go, right? So I had the manual wheelchair, and the droid died. And I was back at Universal in the Simpsons area, and I had to get all the way to the front and out the park, which luckily I always do valet. But I had to get out of there, and that was harder. I mean, I could have asked a cast member for help, but I didn't, and I should have. So if you're at one of the parks and you're having a medical emergency, talk to somebody, ask somebody. They can probably help you, or at least guide you to somebody who can. Don't assume that they're going to know exactly what to do, because they're not trained medical professionals, right? And even the first aid booth isn't going to know what to do with complex medical situations. Therefore, you need a Band-Aid. Do you have a sunburn? Type of stuff.